All right, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. It is Wednesday, March 23rd, 2022. Here's the story right now. If you were to look at stock futures, which are a little lower right now, the 10-year yield, which is about 2.36, and the dollar, you're going to see an interesting set of dynamics, something we see all the time. Stock futures are lower. 10-year yield is stable, okay? The market is pricing in more hikes. Nothing major going on over there. The dollar is higher this morning. There's a little bit of a fear trade going on. Why? Well, turn on Bloomberg, CNBC, Fox Business, pretty much any of the mainstream news outlets. And the narrative is energy shock, food shortages. These are coming. So the market right now, a little fearful of that. And trust me on this one, the market's going to shrug it off, just like it shrugs everything else off. So the setup this morning is not great, like I just said. Trading doesn't start for about 35 minutes. Looks like we're going to at least open lower. Things can change, absolutely, but that's the setup right now. And it's no surprise to anybody. They're going to, again, people throw another crisis at us, and then one after that, maybe a couple on top of each other, and more cash is going to be thrown at these things. It's all a mechanism. You know how this works, to continue to borrow cash from the future. Crisis to crisis to crisis with no end in sight. It's very sad. It really is. That's how they run the world these days. Who are they? They are the central banks. They are the government of the world. And I really want you to start getting used to that. And they are determined beyond any doubt to continue to pressure middle class people all over the world in an attempt to crush them, in an attempt to push cash higher up the food chain to the 1 and 2 percenters. That's the way it's going to go. There's no way to stop it at this point, and it's going to accelerate from here. So just be ready. Like I've been telling you for the longest time, have the high ground, meaning be prepared for what's coming. There is no doubt, and I covered this like a month ago. I said we're going to see a global energy shortage and energy shock. Crude oil right now is resuming its trajectory higher. WTI is about 112. Brent crude is almost 120. And these prices are going to seem like a walk in the park to people. And you look, how do I put this another way to you people? I got angry over the last few days for a myriad of reasons. This is some freak show. You all know that, and we can't let opportunity pass us by anymore. You must have exposure to commodities. Commodities are going to balloon. They're going to balloon moving forward. The easiest way to gain exposure to this is via an exchange-traded fund or an ETF that will allow you to have exposure to these things. They trade like a stock. Ticker PDBC. You also need to have exposure to oil and gas producers. People, all of this is right on my website, traderschoice.net. Take advantage of these things. Gregory Mannarino stock picks. Go have a look at that. I got your back. I am trying my hardest, people, to keep you in the right spots here. Again, I'm not right 100% of the time, nor do I need to be. Nobody needs to be right 100% of the time when it comes to this market. You got to be right most of the time, but it should be a no-brainer. Literally a no-brainer. If we understand the way things are playing out, they're telling us right now. I mean, they've been broadcasting this for a while. Energy shock, food shortages. So it's going to happen. It's already happening, okay? So you need exposure to these things. Like I said, PDBC. Look, there's other ways to gain exposure to this stuff. I know that, but I can't sit here and outline everything, all right? Because I see in the comments, Greg, why are you recommending this? You should be looking at this. Look, I'm just giving you my suggestions. You people do with this information what you want to, and you should always do your own research. Understand? We also understand, people, that global debt is gonna balloon along with commodities like you can't possibly believe. So you need to be again on the opposite side of that trade here. The absolute strength of fiat currencies around the world is dissolving before our eyeballs. Henceforth, why we're seeing inflation surge. So what do you want to do? You want to stay in a central bank issued note? You want to participate in that system? Go ahead. You need to get out of it. Meaning you need to hold a hard asset, physical gold, more specifically physical silver. You all know that. And we need to take advantage of everything else that comes along, people. There's just no doubt about it. All right, so that's the setup this morning. It's a little bit of a fear trade on the promise. I'm going to say it's a promise. It's a threat of energy shocks, supply chain disruptions, food inflation like we haven't seen yet. And I know it's pretty bad. Look, I shop just like you do, and it's pretty epic. I was online the other day at Albertsons, and I was talking to this gentleman. He just couldn't believe it. He's like, do they realize what this is doing to people? I'm an old man and I can't afford these prices. This is happening everywhere. Anyway, look, you got it. You know what's going on. At its core, people, it's the curse of the debt-based economic model, which is the greatest threat to human life on the planet. They will kill millions of people to make sure that the debt-based economic model stays in place. They will introduce crisis after crisis. They will prolong every single crisis, expand wars, spread diseases, whatever they have to do to allow the mechanism to function, and that is to pull cash from the future just to sustain where we are. And then the lies are going to be propagated. Our economy is very, very strong. This is the Federal Reserve. That's the narrative they've been pushing for the longest time. Meanwhile, they've been keeping rates artificially suppressed since the meltdown of 2008. Does that make sense to you? No. If our economy was really strong, do you think they would still be in the process of artificially suppressing rates, in the process of deliberately going out of their way to create inflation? Don't listen to Greg Mannarino. Listen to Fed President James Bullard yesterday, who explained that the Federal Reserve is deliberately creating inflation. That's what they're doing. It was a stunning admission on my part, on his part. To hear that, I was like, whoa. You know, once in a while, you get a little bit of truth out of these people. You understand? And we haven't seen anything because they're not done. They're on a mission, central banks, none more so than the Fed, to literally become the lenders and buyers of last resort, to create a slave world with slave citizens in it that are easy to manipulate and easy to control. And they will send people into wars around the world, splatter their guts everywhere. They don't care about you. You don't matter at all. You have no voice. You know that. You have no representation anymore. It's a one world government. Get used to it. They have puppetized world leaders. Nothing matters anymore. And I think you're all extremely well aware of that. All right, look. So in summary right now, like I said, trading doesn't start from now, about 28 minutes. You got a little bit of a fear trade going on here. Keep your eye on that 10-year yield. The market is pricing in rate hikes. This is not an uncontrolled spike. An uncontrolled spike is going to be, like I always tell you people, 2.5%, 3%, 4%, boom, boom, very, very rapidly. And that's going to put a lot of pressure on the stock market. And then we get a sell-off across the board. Cash will move like a tsunami into commodities. You understand? You need exposure here, people. I don't know another way to put it. Look, don't take my word for anything. I want you to sit back, ponder what's going on around you, and think, is what Greg's saying, does it make sense to me? Is this something I should be doing? Look, like I always tell you, you could lay down and do nothing. You can allow the system to destroy you, and most people are. Or you could try to weaponize the system by any means at this particular. I told you yesterday the gloves are off. The gloves are off for me, okay? We all participate willingly in the beast system. And until you get out of that beast system yourself, don't point your fingers at anybody else, because you are an active participant in it. It's the truth, all right? I'm out of here. Love you a lot. Please share the video. Think, people, what you need to do today? What action can you take right now? Maybe you can go out and buy yourself some physical silver. I got it all over my freaking desk. All right. I think that's the best way to bet against the debt, and think of gaining exposure here to commodities via an ETF. Okay, and like I said, PDBC is a recommendation. It's on my website, traderschoice.net. There are other ways to do this as well, but you need to have exposure, in my opinion. All right, think about it, ponder it, and consider your options moving forward, people, because the system is designed to destroy you. Are you going to let it happen, or are you going to take action? I hope you take action. I really do. I will see all of you at the end of the day. We'll sum this all up. Oh, by the way, we're going to hear from the Fed again today. Fed President Daly, some horrible, putrid, disgusting, vomitous thing is going to come out of her mouth. I can only imagine what it's going to be. But it's going to be interesting. I'll see you later.